We have a wonderful itinerary here today. The idea for the panel is that there's a lot of misinformation, or there's a lot of information that we don't get pretty easily, especially that custom or the tailor problems that areas like Hyderabad has, for example, or the kind of music that you're releasing and why it's not going out. So there are these miscommunications that we want to solve, but not just for artists. There are different professions that we want to bring out. So one of that is the panel. I want to introduce to you the panelists. Let's go to the panel, the interesting stuff. Wanna again first wanna get the showstopper here. An artist who's been here since the first chapter of Indie in Hyderabad and who's been there even now, the longevity that he's produced, the songs that he's released, and the kind of fandom that he's achieved. So give it up for Nitish. Thank you very much, Nitish. Thanks, Mama. Okay, the next one. Please. Thanks. Thank you. And the next particular person also happens to have a very long and a very unique career inside this particular space. Someone who's organized events, someone who's an entrepreneur, an artist herself. Please give it up for Juhi. These are the people you absolutely must know if you have to survive and thrive in this industry. So thank you very much, Juhi, for doing this. And lastly, someone who I cannot emphasize on this, but someone who has been the backbone of our whole scene. So loudly, guys, please give it up for Prasanna, aka Notch Filter. So our man is a sound engineer, he's a light engineer, he's a production expert, he is a... Thank you. He's also a music producer. He also is an artist himself, doesn't perform as such, but I think once I asked him, how many instruments do you play, bro? And he's like, ala count ela chesi cheptaru bhaiya. So thank you all for coming here. I think the mics are on, right? Okay, be one of you there. So excited to be here among all of you people. So first question, actually wanted to ask both of you, because somewhere we have that special connection to independent. What is independence in independent music according to you? Just want to understand your iteration of it.
Cool. So, in its truest form, independent music is, in the face value, it's exactly what it is. You make music by yourself and primarily for yourself. Like, when you start off writing songs in a bedroom, you don't care about what the hook step is or what the hook line is or what the 20 seconds of the song, of that part of the song that's going to go viral is. Like, you're going to write something that you like. That to me is the first primary form of independence when it comes to music. You write music for yourself. And when you put it out in such a way where truest form of independent music is usually not, in my opinion, backed by like a big label or by a film producer or whatever. You make music. Sometimes you don't even have the budget to like make a video for it, but you finish the song and you either put it out, you figure out how to like distribute the music, or you just put it up on SoundCloud. At least that is what independent music used to be back when I started off. But things change, things evolve, and I'm glad that it's sort of become this sort of like an industry where a lot of young people can think about the metrics of how to finish a song, how to put it out, who their psychographic is, who their demographic is. It's become like a pretty big thing.
So same question, but you have done many shows in independent music. You have given opportunity to so many artists over the years. So how do you look at this particular field?
So actually have Supi here and Almo as well, who I've worked for so long. And I think it's pretty much like even Priyanka and Bendi. Uh, and it's been such a great relationship, I can say. Their music is lovely. And I think in Hyderabad, there's immense talent. Um, and it's about the event organizers to be able to go attend various gigs and find talent, you know. And to curate is an art. And I think the curation has to be very well done to be able to kind of put out that kind of experience. And yeah, I think the look and feel of everything coming together. So yeah. Um,
So just to follow up, when was your first event that you've organized? How was it? Maybe shed a little light of
Right.
how you started this.
So the Souk India, so under PASIL, we were working with a certain client, and the Souk was supposed to be a Sunday brand activation. And then later, after I think 3 or 4 events, we realized that there's a lot of potential for it to be an IP of itself. And I think that's what we did. We curated more of them. A lot of people started seeing it as a Sunday where they can come, like connect with artists, musicians, shop, and like, you know, just hang out with your community. And I think that kind of really caught upon. And I've met so many people, like I think we've worked with over 100 artists and almost 250 brands. And we've built a good like 1,000+ communities. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's been 4 years now. So yeah.
Similar, somewhat. I think we started a little after you, but amazing. If you've heard of Souk, guys, if you've been to Sunday Souk, she's the founder of it. Please do so. Check her page out. Do follow her and follow the pages to check out new updates. Quick follow-up question, Notch. What was your first gig, and what did you do in that gig? And by the way, I'm going to be mixing a little bit of English and Telugu. I hope that's okay for the regional touch, for more like hi. For the regional authenticity. I hope that's okay. This whole episode will also come out on YouTube with subtitles, but also our boys are going to be right here. You can ask them any question you want. Sorry, Mawa.
So, first gig, it's always been my, probably, it's church. Yeah, I've been grow up in church. So,
So you had mixing duties, right?
Yeah.
In the church,
Yeah.
so that's where you started. By the way, if some of you have checked out the churches here in Hyderabad, I think they're better concert spaces than like wonderful the kind of setup that he has. So what did you do in the first gig basically? Who were the artists? What was your role in the first event of such?
like other than church, I don't remember, it's quite a
Yeah,
while.
because you worked in so many, right?
First band, AWM, it's disbanded right now. After that, Nawab Gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nawab Gang boys are right there. Also, he does a lot of music production for Nawab Gang.
Yeah.
So basically, let me get a little bit deeper. Like, did you learn music before getting into this, or how did that
It's-
work?
It starts from church again. So I used to play keyboard, drums in the church, and also mixing as well. So from there, I wanted to grow big, or more into music production. So YouTube has always been my friend. Then I joined a college after my intermediate. Yeah, that's where I met Ricky and now King. Yeah, we found. From there, I've been doing it.
Yeah. Same question to you also, Nitesh. Like, when was your first gig, and how was that?
So, my first gig was at this hookah parlor called Car Jeans, which used to be at, I believe, road number 12, around the corner, and it was in 2013. So, yeah, I feel old, thanks. So I was playing that gig with my good friend Aditya. We were in a band together back then. We were called Nimbus. And that was my first band. And we knew the girl who was doing PR at that hookah parlor. She was another friend's classmate in MGIT. She got us the gig, and it was a cover gig, and we played a bunch of covers. But where I originally started off playing indie music was for there's this beautiful organization called Tree August Club. Those guys pushed me to write my first independent music. The first batch of my songs I wrote at this cafe in DD Colony called Daffodils with my friends, and we performed at their open mics and their gigs.
Oh, wonderful. What was some of your best collaborations since then look like? How did you navigate from there to a little bit like the second and third step? Because we know what the first step I think looks like. This is what the first step looks like, I think. So what is the second and third step?
So for anybody who's wanting to put out music and finish release albums, so for most of you all probably when you start off, you have a song idea, you write it with a guitar or a piano or whatever, but what you really need is somebody to help you produce that music. And for me, it started off when I found my friend Akhil Kodamanchli. He used to go by the moniker No Hero back then. He's in Berlin now. He's doing music there. He sort of helped me produce my first EP, and after that it was my friend Navneet Krishnan, who's a fantastic drummer and a producer. He helped me produce my first album. After that, it was this very cool, great Billboard producer called Mr. Kalmi, who's sitting up there and looking snobbily. Him and I sort of collaborated a lot, and I learned a lot from him. So that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Pick and choose, learn from some very talented people.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Kalmi, for also coming here and supporting this scene. Also, a little bit of a footer note, Tree Huggers Club are also doing an event today at EXT. But thank you so much for coming here and choosing us over them. But yeah, we also started, by the way, Tree Huggers Club was a huge inspiration even for us. It was also it was the first chapter of Indie in Hyderabad was still particularly doing. So again, the second and third steps for you, how did that look? Because first one, I understand when we are doing, there is some support. There's some support, especially with the ecosystem that's there. But what did the second and third or fourth step look like? And how were you trying to find artists for your gigs?
So second step was actually with Tree Huggers. Supri was very, very kind, and so was Kamal. They helped me navigate from the first venue, and with such a seamless transition to Moonshine and EXT, and then we did a couple of events there. So that's where we met, even Supri, Almo, and everybody. We got to collaborate there and multiple more spaces post that. And I think by then you get a hang of how to organize, what are the steps to follow, and you create a certain template for you as an organizer, what comes first, do you have an idea, and then there's a vision, and then there's budgets. Very, very important part, to be able to execute this little idea of a dream that you have for a day, to be able to get all the people that you're listening to, and you really admire their talent, and just watching them perform, really does bring a lot out of you, I guess, and makes you feel very good, and also to appreciate the community that you're around. So I think that's a very important aspect. And I think how I was able to spot everybody or to be able to have a conversation with them was definitely a lot of house parties, a lot of events where they were participating and playing at, and Instagram, social media. I think social media is such a great aspect and a great part of everybody's life, to be able to find out who's working with whom and what their talent is. So I think all of these platforms put together just kind of makes your decision making much better. And Yeah, and that helps you just think about like, okay, if this is the vibe for this event with this venue, these are the artists that would like look great or sound great with the vibe that we're going with. So that's how I navigate through curation.
Yeah, these tools are basically some of the ones that obviously we all have to use. And combining all of these only was the idea for IMP. Because the kind of things that right now, like like for example, if we want to curate someone and they send a reel that has hit 120K views or something like that. So we don't know how that performed or how, based on the reel, the artist is going to perform on stage. A question to you now, basically, with regards to performance on stage or with regards to artist getting on stage. So, Ante, what are first couple of things that artists need to be prepared before getting on stage with regards to the technical aspects, not just okay, yeah, there is absolutely needs to be practice, but what are the technical aspects for artists to keep in mind before getting on stage?
So before getting on stage, not even before getting on stage, before confirming the show, send your rider, tech rider. So communicate with the vendor or sound engineer who's there. So check your needs are fulfilled. First thing to do. After that, so once you're on stage or before the stage, make sure you have your gear checked beforehand. Okay, it's not like getting on stage and figuring out my guitar is not working or my pedal is not working. I don't have the power adapter or battery. Okay, make sure your gear is sorted before getting on stage. So then, once you're good with your gear, you can start, for the sound check and you can do the show. But before that, you have to confirm your rider or, you have to communicate what do you need to perform on stage.
So a little bit more following, because tech rider is one. I feel you need to have some knowledge of building a good tech rider that supports the venue or the organizers. We can't have like a 10-page tech rider and expect us to, especially if you're starting out basically. So how should one build the tech rider first? Like how should you gain the knowledge to make that one particular thing that fits uh, fits the first requirements, or and then you build a little more on that?
Building a rider, it's not a rocket science. First thing, you need to know how to type. That's it. Okay, I'm just saying. Like, then know your gear. Like, what processor are you using? How many outputs does it have? Or what keyboard do you have? Okay, what microphone are you using? So if you don't know the gear, at least communicate with the sound engineer. Send him a picture. Okay, so I'm using this pedal. So, or I'm using these microphones. So at least he will guide you. Otherwise, you can just send a WhatsApp text. You don't need a PDF 10 pages or something like that to start with. I'm not saying the bigger bands or bigger tech riders. To start with, what are you using? Okay, what do you need? You need a monitor or you need an in-ear. Just be clear, send it over, confirm. You should be good.
So the idea is communication beforehand. I think all three of us have faced similar issues with regards to getting this particular thing sorted. So tell me, Nitish, like what did you do? At some point, you had your own sound engineer. I'm assuming at some point you learned to communicate with the sound engineer better. Because let's get one thing clear. Like, if you get your production right, then your show is amazing. Like and again, I don't want to. This guy's gonna start feeling shy, but every time Prasanna was there in one of our shows, it's a great show. Like he was someone who's also managed like 3 stages for us at one point, like in one day. So that is absolutely essential, I would say.
It's teamwork, I would say, communication. Yeah.
Yeah, chale,
Not me who's doing.
It's trying to be modest, but
That's not modest,
guys,
it's truth.
yeah. So you tell me, bro. Like, what was your experience like working with production? At some point, okay, you made music. Now it's going somewhere, but the next thing is to enhance your live performances.
See, I'll tell you one thing. Um, I used to play a lot of cover shows back in the day. I used to play cover shows until 2023 when I decided I had enough and I wanted to just play indie music, songs that I wrote. The number one takeaway for me for any gig, even if it's like I played stadium gigs, I've also played private gigs at farmhouses. If there is somebody on your side in this entire equation, it's the sound engineer. Do not disrespect the sound engineer. You shut up and you listen to what the sound engineer is saying. If you don't listen to what the sound engineer is saying, you're gonna get screwed. Don't tell him you need more bass in your monitor. He already knows that. He has a better ear than you. He does this for a living. He's not telling you what chords to play. If the sound engineer is telling you, play E minor and not G there, you will be like, who are you? Why are you telling me? That's exactly how he feels when you ask to increase bass or mids. They know what they're doing, man. They're trained professionals. And some of the most, even for my studio production, when I started off, some of the stuff that I learned back when I had like a basic processor came back to help me. Like a big shout out to Varun from Moonshine. 2016, I played my first show with Moonshine, and he's the first guy who mixed for me at Moonshine. He's been my friend since. After the first show that I played, since the first show that I played up until today, he's always bashing me. This has stopped recently, but he has this hobby, okay? He'll go to random artists and he'll be like, tell me what a compressor does. If somebody buys a pedal, he'll ask, what is that pedal doing? Know your gear. Know your gear, like literally. And do not disrespect the sound engineer. Because through them, you learn a lot of stuff that will help you later. You won't realize. Like, you don't know what an EQ is, you don't know what a compressor is, you don't know what a DSR is, you don't know what a saturator is. Go ask your sound guy. He knows all of these things. And if he wants to find out how to write a song, he'll ask you. It's a collaborative thing.
Yeah, I think Prasanna has told me one crazy story about this. I don't know who the artist was. Someone was coming and apparently trying to, give all sorts of instruction to him. And then he said, I don't think he said it out loud, but he's like, guitar tune cheskara Jaffa first. So guitar was in tune and this person was already giving. So we've had like good and bad stories from both ends. But it all comes down to basically here building an experience and leaving an experience for the people who are coming, because it's not we can't take it for granted. You're literally, all of you are coming, taking time out of your personal lives, driving here, rains, roads, whatever it is, you're still coming and trying to support your friends, still trying to come and support the ecosystem. It's very important for that experience bit. And something that I've seen in Souk, basically, I think I've come to the tabla one, like beautiful experience basically. Like I think that was the first art slash music was happening. So I wanted to understand, even for basically aspiring event organizers, maybe this information is quite vital. How do you set that process of building that experience? Like where does how does those thoughts work, and what are those few steps that you take to make that happen?
I think it's extremely strategic for me. I think about how many number of art stalls I want, how many brand stalls I want, how many clothing stalls I want. Then I think about if I want hand tattoo or like, machine tattoo. And should we do a puppy pool area? Would that be perfect for the weather? Or the area, with how much space can we allot for it? And like, will the puppies be okay if there are so and so number of people turning up at the event? And just understanding all the logistics of the space is very, very important first. And definitely second is budgets. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges I think everybody faces in a daily life. No matter what walk of occupation you're in, I think budgets is where it all boils down to. But again, if we're understanding where like marketing comes in place for it as an event, I think that really does help. And if you're working with a venue and the founders of the venue share the same kind of vision as you do and kind of believe in the idea, I think they will go above and beyond to help you and support you and guide you through and through. And I've been very lucky to be able to work with all the venue owners or founders where it was always a sit down discussion and not against each other. So it was always that way. Even like for example, like when you're hosting an event, you are expected to bill a certain amount of money during the event or at the end of the day. Even if that does not reach the target, they're very happy with the experience we've built. So I think at the end of the day, what I've definitely understood is even in the city, there are wonderful curators, honestly, yourself and Mayur and like everybody I've like worked with. And everyone's created like amazing experiences, and I think that should keep happening. And I also think that having these discussions, having to sit down and talking to each other, saying, hey, this is the problem I'm facing, how do you solve it? And it's been such a good conversation instead of like there's no ego battle or barrier that I've faced so far. So I think communication has been great.
Excellent. Quick following up to that, and this is something that we've seen with the indie space, especially. I'm not sure. Have you done commercial events?
Yes.
You have done commercial
have,
events.
yeah.
There is like a big difference. Like there
Yes.
is like an absolute big difference in indie. Like for example, Nitish, there's Almo, there's Supi, there's so many people here, right here, who actually go a little above and beyond to support
Yeah.
our vision. Doesn't matter at the end of the day the budgets, but for commercial, absolute budgets is needed. You want to do something on a Saturday night at one of a huge venue, you need to show the 2x or 3x return. Absolutely. So, what was that commercial versus indie difference for you?
Okay, so I think when it comes to commercial, it's about the number of people like the artist can pull in or can number of tables an artist can sell. So that has been a very sad factor because I don't think artists should face that. It's not an artist's job to like do that because that's literally what a promoter or the organizer or the venue needs to do. And the artist just needs to perform and like focus on what they have to, like, be there, be present, and walking on the stage and performing for so many people. That's not easy for anybody, and it takes a lot of guts, it takes a lot of balls, and like to be able to perform is huge. So that respect has to be provided by the event organizer. I think it's very important for having that form of respect, understanding, and communication, definitely, like he's mentioned, and making sure that they, on the day of the performance, that they don't go through anything from their end, which is our job to do. They just need to have a lot of peace of mind to come there and perform.
Yeah, so basically, these bunch of targets just do exist. Like, for example, if we are going to go and host something on some night, or you're collaborating with a venue, it's a typical club basically. Your bar sale becomes your key factor. Like, how many people are drinking, how much. It's not about music there. Uh, and Prasanna here doesn't drink, so. For you also, actually, this question basically, you have done small shows, you have done concerts, you have done festivals, you have done stadium gatherings, like, but I want to understand from your perspective what changes when you do a absolute commercial core thing and when you do like a smaller indie, because you are one of those extremely indie enthusiasts, because I think you're also a music producer. What does those differences look like for you?
Commercial when versus indie, it's about what you like or what you love. So comes to indie music, At numbers. Okay. It's always like if I like the music or not. If I like the music, I'll go work for it. I don't expect anything. I just listen. I'll enjoy music. When it comes to commercial, it's all about balancing both of them. On there, spend here. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me one of, just to get an idea, what was the most commercial and huge thing that you have done till date? I know you've done many, but what are those one, two that you can recall?
One in recent times is Kiravani. Uh, so like I I was the lighting director for that show. Lighting, yeah. That's a recent commercial gig I have done.
మాది డిడ్ చేసి అక్కడ పోయినావు కదా.
Yeah.
By the way, the video that you've seen, Fandom, that happened on the same day Kiravani's show happened. And obviously, who can say no to Kiravani, sir?
It's not like that. Like I gave a word before this was fixed. Same today also. I confirmed you, then I got that. So I was like, I already gave a word. So I sent one of my guy. They're happy.
Mate Sasanam. But Nitish, so you've also been in the music industry, like the film side music industry. You've worked with so many music directors, but you've also been you've also done a lot of your original stuff. What does for an artist these differences look like, basically? Like, or how do you navigate this particular thing?
See, the primary thing that you have to ask yourself is, how is independent different from commercial? What is commercial and what is independent? And this answer is different for everybody. There's no set answer saying, hey, like independent music is so and so, commercial music is so and so. If you follow this formula, you'll get something commercial. Follow this formula, you'll get something independent. Which might be, if you follow that formula, you'll probably get something commercial or independent. But the thing is, how are you truly being somebody who's defying these expectations? I care about that. I don't care about sounding commercial or independent. I care about sounding like me. For the longest time, I did. I was like, hey, maybe if my sound might not translate well into a film setting, or my sound might not translate well into, I don't know, I worked for films too long, now do I have an independent sound? Or I've been an indie guy all my life, can I work for another music director? It doesn't work that way. What truly works is what you do. Like, you have to do what is right for the film in front of you, or you have to do what is right for that artist that you're playing for, or you have to do what is right for the vision of the song that you're writing. It's different from project to project. And for the most indie sitting in a bedroom recording songs, you might need Dappu, which is like the most commercial instrument out there in Telugu. What are you going to do? Just because you added Dappu, does it mean that it'll become a commercial song? No, right? It's still produced in a bedroom studio. It's not for a movie. You cannot draw these lines. And for the most commercial films also, like it might just be like one guy sitting with a piano and singing. You don't know. You can't say these things. It's more of like a philosophical thing that you need to ponder about. What does it mean for you? What does indie mean for you? What does commercial mean for you? Or do they have to mean anything at all?
So what does then, like, quite interesting, that's hitting for some time. But I asked this question actually in the last episode also to Damini. What does then success for an artist look like? For a full-time artist. You're a full-time artist now, basically, right? So what does success for an artist look like?
Depends on what your expectations are from your gig. Is your expectation monetary, or is your expectation validation, or your expectation just to say, screw it, I'm going to make music for myself? Because all of these have been my expectations in the past. Now, if I'm being completely honest with you, after several phases of like creative bankruptcy, burning out, and then rehashing, getting back up, doing something new, and then burning out again, and then doing something new, it has dawned upon me that making music is not just my what I do for a living. It's a way of life. And when it's a way of life, and when you do what you really like doing, right? Does it really matter what success is? Like, do you care like if you're a successful human being, if your objective is like just to survive? It's a I know that I'm going off onto the far edge right now and I don't want to be that guy, but just think about it. Like, depends, right? If you want to be a successful human being, you work hard and you succeed. If you just want to chill, you sit and you chill. But your work is gonna be there regardless. When it's a way of life, it depends on what sort of a person you are. If you're asking me what sort of a person I am, I just go with the flow. If I, at that point of time, I have to be successful, I will sit down, I'll work hard, I'll be successful for that period of time, and then I'll go back to chilling. Or if one day I feel like I have to be incredibly successful for the rest of my life, then that means that, you know, you have to put in the man hours for it. You have to sit down and you work. Are you really willing to like do that? Are you willing to make those sacrifices to be successful? Because success doesn't necessarily come easily. You have to sacrifice to get the level of success that you want. That's the big picture.
I have one last round of questions to three of. After that, I'm going to leave it open. If you have any questions, you have 5 minutes to make up the questions first. Just because since you have the mic. Now, if there's a kid that walks up to you and says that, Anna, I want to become a musician. I want to become a musician. Now tell me how. What would your answer to that kid?
How old is this kid?
10 years old.
10 years old. I'd ask him to learn an instrument.
Okay.
And then he'll figure out his own way. How can I give him a formula for something formless?
Wow, man. Damn. That's Nitish for you. Quite okay. What would that answer look like for a 14-year-old guy?
I'd ask him to pick up an instrument. I started playing the guitar when I was 15.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, for context, I'm almost 30 now, so I've been playing since like for the past 14 and a half years.
Same question to you. An aspiring person wanting to create these experiences for these different reasons, basically. So, what would you tell them? How would your guidance be like?
Definitely just go for it, make mistakes, learn from it, and don't repeat that again.
Yeah, I mean, so a little bit more. Actually, I want to dive a little bigger because budgets, as you said, is a real pain. Like, no matter how much you want to skip, budget is an absolute pain. So, yeah, we have budget. Basically. What should it's not like just hire 4 artists, sell tickets. It's gonna happen basically. But from the experience point of view, right? So how do you want other people also, or the new aspiring people, to keep a few things in mind before they start?
You should definitely be very keen about it. I think you can plan better, understand like what is a very essential part to add to the experience and what to remove. I think the addition and subtraction is very, very important to stay within the budget and also have the extra headroom, you know. Just that extra wiggle room will always be helpful. Just in case you're going a bit over the budget, you know how to cover the entire aspect of like whatever aspect of logistics that you need to pay for. I think that planning is very key. And once you do have that planning in place and you can be able to allot everything very precisely, for which open communication with each and every vendor is very essential to be able to close those budgets with venue as well, and to be able to make them understand why and for what this is being charged for. I think the transparency in the process really helps because it forms a lot of trust as well. So I think these are the key factors I keep in mind while I work with the clients. So this is what I do.
Awesome. Prasanna, but Your job is a little different, basically. So I'll tell you about my experience. The first chapter that I was hosting, which was in April 2022, my boys up there helped me. We organized it together, and I had no idea about his job because I was a noob, like proper noob. Like I stepped in and then I thought, okay, let's figure it out because at this for that day I had 60,000 that I wanted to burn on a thing. So Prasanna was busy doing something on iPad. I was like, what exactly is he doing? This is called sound check. What is that? I don't know what that is. So there are a lot of things, and I learned about his particular job that there's a whole world behind the stage that makes it happen. But it's this information is not for me, though it was a little challenging to even find out. But for aspiring people who want to get into the behind the scene, basically, where do they start? How do they learn this craft that you have?
First, listen to music. First things first. Yeah. It's depends on what you listen and what you train your ears with. Okay. If you listen to crap and start mixing, it sounds like crap. Then if you yeah, seriously, like whatever you're listening to, it's gonna affect what you're mixing. It's not like learning, go study, and it's not like a software or something, learning and doing it. It's with the years of, training your ears. If you're starting, like if you wanna be a backstage guy or behind the scenes, anything within the industry, there are multiple ways. Like, what is your interest first? Like, you wanna be a sound engineer, or you wanna be a lighting engineer, or you wanna be a video guy. So there are multiple, subcategories for everything. So find your thing. Like first, what is the one thing that you're gonna love doing it? It's not like for for living or for getting money. First you need to love, otherwise you'll end up in a IT company or something like that. Yeah. So if you love your work, you don't have pain doing that. So the main thing when it comes to sound engineering or any uh, technical jobs, like even the artists or event companies or event managers, let's say in our city, they'll think like all in one fruit mix. Like one guy do monitors, FOH, systems, stage. It's not like that. There is a one particular category for everything. Like if you're doing FOH, that guy is taking care of FOH. You're doing monitors on stage, it's a different job. Okay, for everything there is a different category itself. So people need to understand that first. Then learn about it. Join a company, rental company or something like that. You'll learn it. It's not like reading book and single night I want to be an engineer. It's not like that. You have to train your ears, study.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to extremely again emphasize on this. Training your ear for this job is absolutely essential. I mean, yes, you've said that the sound engineers usually are the ones, the experts, the ones we trust, basically. But then I've also had some of these experiences where working. For example, we have hosted Suppi so many times now at IMP-X that I am aware of how she sounds and what the best sound feels like for her. We know this, and at any point we don't get that level. We wanna go and tell only the basic thing that ekkat levu, inpiat levu, or something like that, basically. And there's always some sort of miscommunication that happens, saying that Are you go, I know things, basically. I've never known how to deal with these situations. I probably till date don't know how to deal with these situations because yeah, I respect the art that they bring in. It's not something like no Jesko ante I can't go behind the deck and I don't know what I'm touching, basically. So I don't know how to deal with something like that. So training your ears is absolutely essential, and for that, just listening to music. Awesome. So that's it from me. If you have any questions specifically for the panelists, please don't hesitate at all. Again, you? Okay, come. Yeah, come.
So actually, hello everyone. I actually have this question for Nitish and Noj combined. So as an enthusiast, we've been going and attending a lot of events of artists. Being an artist is one thing and being a performer is one thing. Every artist can't be a performer. And you have also, as a curator, we've come across many artists who are not essentially a performer but are navigating. So being a performer since 10 years, how would your tips and Notch also, what is the thing that they need for an artist to become a performer?
So I'm not. I'm not just somebody who plays music. I'm also a trained actor. Not a lot of people know about this. I've grown up on stage from the age of 5. I've done a lot of theater, and I travel the country and I performed in a lot of different places. Thing about performing is a shared experience. Being an artist is more of an isolated experience, which is divided into you making your art and putting it out. Now, how do you combine being an artist or a performer, or do you even want to? Let's take the classic example of busking. All right. Whenever I say busking, or whenever you bring up busking, you would think that somebody's outside playing guitar impromptu to somebody, or with a bunch of people, like they're all coming up on spot, engaging with the crowd. It's more of like a street play experience. But you should also consider that a lot of painters paint live. A lot of modern art happens live. Installations and demonstrations, they happen live. Dancers dance live. Thing is, if you want that sort of a connect with the audience, if you want to be a performer, you have to include the audience into the act of making or performing on stage, which, when I say it out loud, sounds very pretentious, but it's a very raw and beautiful thing. Like, it might be as simple as standing on stage and just talking to somebody down there. One guy is wearing a weird t-shirt and saying, "Hey man, like, you're wearing a weird t-shirt. Why do you want to wear that?" And a guy's like, "Why are you talking to me?" And I was like, "At least you can pull it off. I can't pull that off either." So it might be a lame joke, but it just creates a connect with somebody. And when you sort of like create that sort of like an atmosphere where everybody is included into the performance, that's when an artist will become a performer, is my opinion.
Yeah, crowd work, right?
Crowd work.
Crowd
Yeah,
work.
absolutely.
I feel like the most phenomenal crowd work I've seen ever in my life was I opened for Raghu Dikshit in 2019, and yeah, that I feel like Raghu Dikshit he's a monster, and same goes for a lot of other bands. Like, you guys hosted Indian Ocean, you know how they do their crowd work. Agni, most of these old school bands, they really know how to speak to their audience. And it doesn't matter if there's 30 people in the crowd or if there's like 400 to 500 people in the crowd, they can talk, they can communicate, or that's how it works.
Yeah, for sure. Can you share an experience of your best crowd work, guy? Some artist who's done amazing crowd work?
The band I watched, Wailers. It's Bob Marley, Wailers. Yeah,
Old school.
they are monsters on stage. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Any other questions, guys? No.
Hi, this is Prashant. My question is to Nitish. So I've been working on a couple of tracks. I'm completely new to this scene. And apart from mastering, I don't know much. And I'm learning how to... I have a small storyline to the song. So I'm figuring it out how to use AI. I'm learning Midjourney, VO3. So I want to put out a complete product, and my long-term goal is to put out 10 tracks by the next August. So this is the only thing that I have in mind. So I'm pretty sure from your perspective, you must be knowing a lot of loopholes or anything that you can probably give me so that I can look forward. I mean, in hindsight, yeah.
First off, it's really cool that you're getting to all of this stuff right now. Prashant, if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been making music?
Uh, Quite honestly, I've got my hands on a Logic Pro in probably last 3 months.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, honestly, if you look at it like 10 songs by August, or think of it this way, all right? We as independent artists are an entire mechanism by ourselves. All right? We have to record, we have to swing. If we don't have somebody to help us produce, we have to produce. If we don't have somebody to help us mix and master, we've got to mix and master. If we don't have budgets for an artwork, we have to make the artwork ourselves. If we don't have budgets for a video, then we'll have to like probably use AI and make a video. And more often than not, we don't even have marketing budgets, so we stick to that. We'll make reels or whatever. In a scenario like this, right? I feel like instead of dealing with it in such a way where you think I'm going to put out X number of songs by the X number of date, I feel like you should authentically make one song first. Properly, from beginning to end. Live with it, learn with it, grow with it. See how this ages over time. I'm not asking you to like not work on stuff. Obviously, you're free to work on whatever you want. But release or putting out music, see, I'm not honestly the best person to give you advice because my last release was in January 24. I keep beating myself up about it. But the thing is now, when you sit with a song and when you grow with it, when you actually write it, when you go through the experience of writing with it, or what happens is more so than you releasing that song, it enriches your insides. I won't say cliche shit like soul or whatever, but it's definitely a learning experience. I would urge you to like take it a little slow. Don't just think of it like I'll put out 10 songs or 20 songs by X amount of date. Put out 1 or 2 songs and keep growing with it over time. And maybe, you know, by the time you put out your second or third song, your sound might change. So give space for that, is what I tell you. And take some time and learn some production. Logic is a great software. I personally don't use Logic, but I have used it for different projects. There's a lot to learn about Logic. Like, it's very vast. Like, 3 months is, while it's great that you're already like at a level where you can make songs, feel like you can take some more time to learn the software and see what you're truly capable of doing with it, because it's a very, very, very vast subject.
I have another follow-up question, if that's okay. Like you've mentioned a while before during the conversation, you've separated the artist and the performer. So, and when you spoke about the artist per se, when he's isolated and he does it for himself. So, as you pointed out, since I've been working on a couple of tracks just for myself, I know the first song that I want to put out, but before that I keep making tracks, obviously, because every day you have to check whether you still have that thing, whether you can really come up with something different than you used to before. So that's a sort of a metric for me. So I keep falling in love with something that I produce, I mean, yesterday, than what I produced probably a month back. The month back one is good, at least in my opinion, but I've fallen in love with something more recent. So the reason why I say that I need to put out these many tracks, so that it is out of my system and I can move on. I mean, if that makes sense, something like that. So.
It does, see, the thing is, so John Mayer, do you listen to John Mayer? Do you know?
Yeah,
you've heard of John Mayer, right?
Yeah.
John Mayer said in an interview a long time ago, John Mayer is one of my heroes. He said that it is the music that we make and produce at that point of time, it's like a particular timestamp. I didn't realize it at that point. I was quite young when I heard it. I was just like, what is this guy saying? I just want to listen to him play a solo. And then much later, earlier this year, I read a book called The Creative Act by this great man called Rick Rubin. All right? He's the guy who produced.
Yeah,
He's a legend. I don't have to talk about him. And that book sort of blew my mind because he says that in the book, if you don't commit and finish one particular song at that period of time, somebody else is going to make it.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, okay.
Because no idea is original. We are all connected through our. We are all connected through a universal consciousness. Either you believe in it or not. It's a thing where there's one cloud server up there that is all giving ideas to us without discrimination.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So at the end of the day, if you feel like these songs are authentic and if you want to put them out, that's up to you. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. But most important thing is when you said that you're falling in love with every new idea that you're making, this is the honeymoon phase. That's what it's going to be like. You keep making it. And then once you learn how to commit to the ideas that you're making, right, that is when the real fun will start. It's the little imperfections or the little mistakes that we make in our earlier music or initial body of work that really, really is endearing to us in the long run. I don't know if that makes sense, but I would say don't be afraid. If you feel like putting out all 10 songs, put all 10 songs out. But if I were you, I'd take some time and put them out slowly.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Sweet. Anyone else? Anyone else before we Chotu, sorry, yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Rishi. You can call me Chotu. My question is to Nitish Anna. So, so this is a personal thing which I have. Is like, I don't know why I feel like this, but every time I play before a different set of audience, I don't know why I try to seek validation. It's like, okay, am I playing right for them? Is that so? Suppose we'll take X Festival as example. I came up with my band. We guys played metal. I was like seeking validation from him, and then now I am in college. I'm like surrounded by people who listen to Kanye West, whatever, nothing related to metal. Like I pull up an acoustic and start playing. Some girl asked me to play Hindi song. I don't know what that is. So it's like I don't know why I have this like fear or something, which I want to like move on from. As you mentioned, John Mayer, because he started like Body in a Wonderland and then he moved on. What he felt best was John Mayer Trio. Yeah. So he did his own thing with Stevie Ray Vaughan and many other people. So how do you move past that feeling like, okay, people like me for this, I have to do this in a certain setting?
Okay, you said a very, very wise thing. You said fear, right? You're scared that, people around you are listening to different things. I'll ask you one thing, okay? When you were 2 or 3 years old, they probably fed you baby food. Would you enjoy baby food now?
No.
No, right? See, the thing is, at different phases of our life, we have different preferences. When I was younger, I used to be a purist. I would not listen to anything but classic rock. If you ask me what real music was, quote unquote, I would say there is nothing more real than Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd or Iron Maiden. And I would just look down on every other thing. But as we keep growing older, right, we find different things that interest us. And that's the thing about music and perspective. Like, you keep pushing boundaries with it. Like, you mentioned Kanye, right? Kanye West is, at this point of time and space, one of my favorite artists of all time. If you asked me 10 years ago if I like Kanye West, I'd say Graduation sucks. I'd say Kanye West is a very pretentious guy who does all these things for publicity and who yells racial slurs all the time. But thing with Kanye West is he's also the guy who pushed modern production to a place where whatever you're listening to on the radio is just basically the way it sounds because he pushed a few boundaries. He's one of the people responsible for it. When you understand that life begins outside your comfort zone, or music, understanding, learning happens outside your comfort zone, whatever you're comfortable with, that is when you actually truly learn how to grow. I mentioned Rick Rubin to Prashant earlier, right? Rick Rubin produced Slayer's music. Rick Rubin produced Red Hot Chili Peppers music. But Rick Rubin also made so many hip hop records. So many fantastic hip hop records that we all listen to. So, what sort of a musician do you want to be? Like, do you want to be a purist, or do you want to be somebody who actually like keeps pushing form? I would want to be somebody who will keep pushing form, because like that's interesting and it's new and evolving for me.
Thank you.
Crazy man, actually. Just a little experience of mine. I also used to be pretty big on metal, pretty big on classic rock. Like if it's not Megadeth or Slayer or Pink Floyd, it's not music. And then I met these boys who introduced me to hip hop, which I was not a very big fan of hip hop. But then they introduced me to a lot of hip hop. They themselves have a lot of. Then I met Almo and all these people, and then I started liking their music a lot more than any other commercial. And then I came across all these new songs that have this fusion stuff, new metal. Right, has a lot of these DJ acts going on, electronic acts going on, while there's some distortion going on, and I thought, wow, this is best of both worlds. So a lot later this happened where I also evolved my taste, and now I don't want to be a purist, like, it says I want to accept, listen, see what this does to me. If it does something, great. If it doesn't, let's move on to the next one. So before I wrap it up, one last question. If anyone has, they're going to be here. You can bug them if you want, if they're okay with it. If you have any questions. But one last question, anyone? Before we move on to the next bit. Okay. Thank you very much. We have, oh, sorry, yeah.
I have one question for you.
Naka.
Yeah.
Acha bhaiya.
So, what is IMP vision? Like, other than IMP or other than IMP artist, are you going to support indie artists who are not part of app or our community? So, are you going to promote their shows? Okay, what's your vision on independent scene in Hyderabad?
Hey, Seva. No, it's crazy actually. So we are currently in the process of our second round of funding, and these are questions that I'm almost getting on a daily basis. Like, what is it that we want to do specifically? It's not about simply the app, or it's not about just the event space. I am looking at more of this whole thing as an ecosystem, because you would probably agree with me, there's not a lot of money in this space. Firstly, there is not a lot of money. We barely came out with profit in so many of the shows. We barely came out of profits in so many shows, and that is the real truth. If your sponsors don't support you, it's always difficult. If the people don't show up and purchase your tickets, it's always very difficult. So the problem here, when I started communicating with all these different people, is that we don't have a sustaining ecosystem, a very straightforward formula, or that infrastructure that probably the West has. I mean, they don't still differentiate what independent or label is. It's a different setup altogether. But for us, one of the primary problems with independent music is, I won't say commercial, but I'll say film. It's not again a problem. Like it's a beautiful medium for music to come to us. So now I'm going around, but the ecosystem is what I'm looking at it, wherein what are those pain points for artists, and what are the things that I can solve for artists so they can push their music onto more people. And I'm not trying to approach this with streaming. I'm not trying to approach this via streaming or playlisting industries or something. So many people are already doing that. I mean, the game is it's rigged. The game is rigged. If you're not spending, if you want 1 million or 2 million views or something like that, you have to spend a bomb on it, basically. More and more, we are moving into a space where we are not stumbling upon this crazy music. We are being pushed. The music, we are being pushed, and we are able to absorb only the ones that we are going to push. So the vision for us is basically, coming from a computer science background, I build this product. Do I support other events or do I support other artists? Absolutely, I will. In fact, yesterday I put out a thing saying there are 2 events happening today. One is IMP and one is tree huggers. So go for one of it. Whichever wins, indie is winning. So in order for me to create that, I wanted to start with how do artists represent themselves? What is the form that they represent themselves? If I want to curate and give opportunities, and I am someone who wants to give opportunities, what are the things that I have to look at first? That is where I started. And the answer could not have been Instagram profile anymore. It's again, you want to have you want to have like 100K, 200K followers, you can rig it. You can get it no matter what. You have money, you hire a bunch of influencers, you hire a bunch of marketing, you can grow that. Music is not doing that anymore. So the idea is to create those sort of tools, a representation portfolio tool. The tool, the next, we are having having a major upgrade in the app, by the way. So your profile, your assets will automatically get converted and give you a website with your own domain. That's great. You want to act like a brand. You want to represent yourself as a brand. You want to act like a business. If you want to be a full-time musician, you need to have certain things that are necessary. And just simply following that real culture might not do that trick. I'm not against it. It's a great medium again to grow popularity. But what are those clients, those venue organizers, those event organizers, the brands who you want to associate? What is the thing that they are going to look at? So those are the different tools. Like, yeah, website is one. The website will have a merchandise store. The website might have, the next is going to have a crowdfunding area, and we are going to have an AI module into it. So these are the kind of tools that I'm trying to create. And also, it's a behavior here. This behavior is not there yet. So it's going to take some time before even the other side understand that, oh, is this how I have to curate? And I will prove it to you that we are getting some amazing music, because we have put out the portfolio in a way that I get to see their discography. I get to see how they perform, their past events, their upcoming events, their calendar free space, their YouTube library, their social links, all in one place. In 2 minutes, I need to be able to understand who they are, what they do, where they're from, and if I get a chance to collaborate, how quickly can I reach this person? So these are the things that I'm trying to solve today. Hopefully it might catch up. Hopefully someone else also might come and do this. And yeah, I am seeing other applications also doing this. But yeah, in short, I think that is what I want to do for the scene. Good. All right. Thank you very much.